When I first think about a magical hidden garden that changes lives and hearts, I imagine a place so quiet that you can hear your own thoughts, yet so alive that every breath feels like it carries a story. It isn't just a patch of earth with plants. It's a place that holds secrets, where every leaf and petal seems to whisper to those who take the time to listen. There is something about stepping into such a space that instantly makes you feel as though you've crossed a boundary from the ordinary world into somewhere extraordinary, where the rules are a little softer and the air feels somehow lighter. This garden isn't discovered in a rush. It's not the kind of place you find when you're hurrying from one task to the next. It appears when you slow down, when your eyes start to notice things they've ignored for far too long. Maybe it's an old stone wall with ivy curling over the top, or the faint outline of a gate you've walked past 100 times without really seeing. And then one day, for reasons you can't explain, you stop. You look closer. You feel a pull, a curiosity, almost like the place has been waiting for you. The first step inside is always the most magical. At first glance, it might seem overgrown, a little wild, untouched for years. But the more you look, the more you realize that beauty is already there, hidden beneath layers of neglect, just waiting for someone to care. The earth is rich, the flowers still remember how to bloom, and the air carries a freshness you didn't know you were missing. In that moment, you're not just standing in a garden, you're standing in a possibility. And that's where the change begins, not in the flowers or the leaves, but in the heart of the one who finds it. At first, you might arrive feeling heavy with thoughts, weighed down by troubles that seem too big to solve. But as you return day after day, something shifts. The silence stops feeling empty and starts feeling full. You notice how the sunlight moves through the branches at different times of the day, how the scent of the earth changes after rain, how a single bud can turn into a flower almost overnight. These small miracles, ones you might have once overlooked, start to mean something to you. They remind you that growth takes time, and that even the quietest places are full of life if you know how to look. Working in the garden becomes more than just tending to plants. It's a conversation, a relationship. You clear away weeds, and in return the garden offers you a sense of peace. You water the roots, and it waters your spirit. You plant something small, and weeks later, you find yourself smiling at the first sign of green breaking through the soil. This shared care slowly changes you, teaching patience, kindness, and the understanding that sometimes the greatest transformations happen in silence, out of sight, until the right moment comes to reveal them. But perhaps the most magical part of a hidden garden is how it doesn't just heal the one who finds it. It has a way of touching everyone who steps inside. Friends who visit start to feel it too. Conversations there seem softer, laughter comes more easily, and even those who arrive carrying worries find themselves leaving with lighter hearts. The garden becomes a meeting place not just for people, but for hope, for trust, for joy that quietly blooms in the background of life. In time, you realize the garden has given you something far greater than flowers. It has given you a new way of seeing the world. You start noticing beauty in places you once ignored. A tree in the corner of the street, a tiny wildflower pushing through a crack in the pavement, the way the wind moves the grass in waves. The garden has changed you, and now that change travels with you everywhere. And so, a magical hidden garden is never really just about plants and soil. It is about renewal. It is about finding a place that reminds you that life can begin again, that hearts can open, and that sometimes the most beautiful things are hidden in plain sight, waiting patiently for someone to care enough to discover them. There are times in life when the weight of sadness feels so heavy that it seems nothing could possibly lift it. Days feel gray, moments lose their color, and even the smallest joys seem far away. But something remarkable happens when nature quietly steps in, offering its gentle hand without ever asking for anything in return. It doesn't come with grand speeches or complicated plans. It simply exists, patient and constant, waiting for you to notice. And once you do, the journey from sadness to happiness begins, often without you even realizing it. It starts with the smallest of steps. Perhaps it's just a walk outside when the air feels fresh against your skin. At first, you might still carry all your thoughts with you, replaying the same worries over and over. But then a sound catches your attention, a bird's song high and clear like a melody meant only for that moment. You pause, even for just a second. In that pause, a little space opens up between you and your sadness, and something lighter slips in. Nature doesn't rush your healing. It knows that sadness is not something you can simply push away. Instead, it surrounds you with quiet, steady reminders that life continues, that beauty still exists. You see the way a tree stands firm through the seasons, shedding its leaves without fear, knowing they will grow again. You watch how flowers open slowly in the morning sun, never forcing themselves to bloom before they are ready. And somehow, these simple truths start to speak to you in a language deeper than words. Days spent in nature begin to change you, often in ways too subtle to notice at first. You start to feel lighter, not because your problems have disappeared, but because your heart begins to make room for more than just pain. You find yourself breathing a little deeper, walking a little slower, letting your eyes wander over the shapes of clouds or the shimmer of light on water. These moments don't erase your sadness, but they make it softer, less sharp. And then, one day, something shifts. It might be while you're sitting under the shade of a tree, feeling the breeze play gently with your hair. Or maybe while you're kneeling to touch the cool grass, noticing how alive the ground feels beneath your hands. Suddenly, you realize that the heaviness you've been carrying doesn't fill you the way it used to. There is space now, space for laughter, for gratitude, for moments that make you feel alive again. That is when you understand happiness hasn't arrived all at once. It has been quietly growing inside you all along, like a seed nurtured by the world around you. This journey through nature isn't about pretending sadness never existed. It's about allowing the world to show you that sadness is only one part of the story. Just as winter gives way to spring, your heart learns that it can hold both loss and hope, both pain and joy at the same time. The beauty of a sunrise feels brighter when you've known long nights. The warmth of the sun feels deeper when you've walked through the cold. Nature teaches you that happiness is not always loud and overflowing. Sometimes it is gentle and steady, like the quiet rustle of leaves on a summer afternoon. And the most incredible thing is that this happiness, once found, has a way of staying with you. Even when life challenges you again, you remember the way the sunlight fell through the branches, the sound of waves meeting the shore, the first scent of flowers in the spring air. These memories are like lanterns you can carry within you, lighting your path when shadows return. Nature has shown you the way once, and it will always be there to guide you again. Happiness, after all, is not a destination you arrive at. It is a way of walking through the world, noticing the beauty that surrounds you, and letting it change the way you see yourself and your life. There is something special about friendships that are nurtured over time, the kind that don't just appear overnight, but grow slowly, steadily, like flowers that take their time to bloom. They begin quietly, sometimes in the most unexpected places, and at first they may seem small. Just a kind word, a shared moment, a gentle understanding between two people. But with patience, care, and trust, these connections deepen, turning into something beautiful and lasting. Much like a garden, friendships need tending. They grow best when we give them our attention, when we listen without rushing, when we show up even in small ways. It's the little things, a smile that says, "I see you," a question that asks, "How are you really?" that plant the seeds of closeness. At first, the bond might feel delicate, like a seedling that could be swayed by the slightest wind. But with each shared conversation, each laugh, each moment of understanding, those roots begin to sink deeper into the soil. And there are seasons to every friendship, just as there are in nature. There are bright spring days, filled with excitement and discovery, where every conversation feels fresh and full of energy. There are the warm summers, when everything feels easy and comfortable, where you can simply enjoy being in each other's presence without needing to fill the silence. There are also autumn days when change arrives. Maybe one of you moves away, faces new challenges, or grows in a different direction. Even then, if the roots are strong, the friendship doesn't die. It simply adjusts, waiting for the next season to bring fresh growth. What makes these friendships so valuable is that they are not built on perfection. Like flowers, they might face storms, droughts, or days when the petals fade. There may be misunderstandings or times when life pulls you apart. But when there's trust, you find your way back to each other. You talk it through, you forgive, you understand that the bond is worth protecting. This is when the friendship grows even stronger, because it has survived challenges, and that resilience adds new depth to the connection. Spending time together becomes more than just sharing activities. It becomes a way of nourishing the bond. Maybe you work side by side in a garden, or take long walks, or simply sit together in comfortable silence, knowing that no words are needed. Just as flowers grow best in the right environment, friendships thrive in spaces where kindness, respect, and encouragement are always present. The more you give, the more beauty you see blooming between you. And as the years pass, you begin to notice how this friendship has changed you. You become more patient because you've learned to wait through the quiet seasons. You become more empathetic because you've shared both joys and struggles. You become more open because you know that with the right person, your thoughts and feelings are safe. In this way, a true friendship doesn't just grow, it helps you grow as well. There's a certain magic in looking back and remembering where it all began. You think of those first shy conversations, the little shared moments, the times when you didn't yet realize how important this person would become in your life. And now, here you are, standing in the middle of something strong and beautiful, like a fully blossomed garden. It's not perfect. No living thing is. But it's alive, vibrant, and deeply rooted. And perhaps the most precious thing about these friendships is how they can lift you in ways you didn't expect. On days when the world feels heavy, they remind you of the good that still exists. On days of celebration, they multiply your joy. They are proof that with patience, care, and the willingness to keep showing up, something truly extraordinary can grow from something small. Like blooming flowers, these friendships take time, but when they open fully, they fill your life with color, fragrance, and beauty that lingers long after the seasons change. There is something captivating about a key that doesn't seem ordinary. At first glance, it might look like any other, small, simple, perhaps even a little worn with age, but the moment you hold it in your hand, you feel there is more to it than meets the eye. It carries a certain weight, not just in metal, but in the sense of mystery it holds. You can't help but wonder what it might unlock, and why it has come to you now. The first time you find such a key, you might not even know what door it belongs to. It could be tucked away in an old box, hidden under a pile of leaves, or discovered in a forgotten corner of a room you rarely visit. Its presence stirs questions. Why has it been hidden? Who placed it there? And what lies beyond the lock it's meant to open? You turn it over in your hand, tracing the grooves, imagining the countless possibilities. When you finally discover the door it fits, there is a moment of hesitation. Your heart beats faster because you know this isn't just about stepping into another room. This is about stepping into the unknown, into a space that could change something deep within you. The lock clicks, the door creaks open, and suddenly the world shifts. But the true magic of such a key is that it doesn't just open a physical door, it opens something inside you. It might reveal a hidden place you never knew existed, a place filled with beauty, peace, or long forgotten wonders. As you step inside, it's as though the key has also unlocked parts of your own heart and mind that were once closed. Perhaps it awakens a sense of curiosity you thought you'd lost, or brings back memories that remind you of who you used to be. In this way, the key becomes more than a simple object. It becomes a symbol of change and discovery. It shows you that sometimes the doors we hesitate to open are the ones we most need to step through. On the other side, you may find not just new surroundings, but new perspectives, new connections, and even a renewed sense of purpose. As you explore what lies beyond, you begin to notice how much has been hidden from view, not because it wasn't there, but because you didn't yet have the means or the courage to unlock it. This realization lingers with you, shaping the way you see other parts of life. You start to wonder what other locked doors you've passed by without trying, and how many of them might hold something worth finding. Sometimes the mysterious key also brings people into your life. Individuals who, like you, are drawn to what's been hidden. Together, you might uncover stories, share discoveries, and form bonds that feel as though they, too, were waiting behind that locked door. The shared experience of finding and unlocking something unknown can create connections that are both deep and lasting. Over time, you come to understand that the value of the key isn't just in the place it opens, but in what it teaches you. It reminds you to stay curious, to approach the unknown with hope instead of fear, and to recognize that what is hidden isn't always meant to stay that way. It also teaches you patience, because sometimes the door isn't found right away and you have to carry the key with you until the right moment comes. And perhaps when the journey with that particular door is over, you'll hold onto the key as a reminder, not just of the place it opened, but of the courage it took to turn it, the wonders you found beyond, and the way it quietly unlocked a part of you that might have remained closed otherwise. Because in the end, a mysterious key is never just a tool for a lock. It is an invitation to step into something new, to discover what waits when you dare to open the door. There is a quiet strength in kindness, a gentle force that can reach places nothing else can. When life feels heavy or when pain seems too deep to touch, it is often kindness that finds a way through. It can come in the smallest of gestures, a smile when you feel unseen, a helping hand when you're too tired to ask, a soft word that tells you you're not alone. Kindness doesn't demand grand actions. It thrives in the simple, genuine moments that make someone feel cared for. Care works in much the same way, but it lingers longer. It's the consistency of showing up, of noticing when someone is struggling, and offering comfort without judgment. Care can be as subtle as making sure someone eats a warm meal, or as profound as listening to their fears without rushing to fix them. It has a way of building safety around a person, letting them breathe in the knowledge that someone truly values their well-being. And then there is fresh air. It may sound simple, almost too simple, but anyone who has felt their chest tighten with worry or their mind clouded with endless thoughts knows what a breath of open air can do. Stepping outside, even for just a moment, changes something. The cool breeze brushes against your skin, the sky stretches above you, and suddenly the world feels a little larger than your problems. The air carries away some of the weight you've been holding, replacing it with clarity and calm. When kindness, care, and fresh air come together, they form something deeply healing. Imagine someone who has been withdrawn, carrying unspoken burdens, feeling closed off from the world. A gentle act of kindness might be the first thing that reaches them. A neighbor offering a warm drink, a friend sending a simple message, a passer-by holding a door with a genuine smile. That small opening is enough to remind them that goodness still exists. Then care steps in. Maybe someone takes the time to ask how they've been, not out of politeness, but because they truly want to know. They might sit together in silence or share a quiet walk, showing through their presence that they're willing to stay. This kind of care seeps into the heart like sunlight into cold soil, encouraging life to return slowly but surely. Fresh air becomes the third element, the one that stirs the senses and brings movement back to a still soul. A walk beneath swaying branches, the scent of earth after rain, the sound of wind weaving through grass, all of these remind a person that there is more to life than the walls they've been staring at. The air fills their lungs, and with each breath, a little more heaviness leaves. What's remarkable is how these three forces, kindness, care, and fresh air, don't just heal in the moment, they create lasting change. Someone who receives kindness often feels inspired to pass it on. Someone who has been cared for learns how to care for others in return. And someone who has felt the restorative power of fresh air will seek it again and again, knowing it is always available, no matter what life brings. It's easy to underestimate the impact of something so gentle. We live in a world that often celebrates the loud, the fast, and the dramatic, but healing is rarely loud. It is quiet, steady, and patient. It doesn't always happen in one sudden moment. It unfolds like morning light spreading across a dark room, almost unnoticed until everything is brighter, and perhaps that is the beauty of it. The healing power of kindness, care, and fresh air doesn't demand recognition or reward. It simply works, quietly mending the invisible cracks, reminding us that no matter how far we've fallen, there is always a way back to warmth, connection, and peace. There is a special kind of joy that comes from noticing the beauty in the natural world, a joy that feels both timeless and deeply personal. It doesn't require travel to faraway places or grand, breathtaking views, although those can be wonderful too. Often, it begins with something small, something you might have walked past 100 times without seeing. It might be the way sunlight filters through the leaves in the morning, scattering soft golden patterns across the ground. Or the gentle curve of a flower petal, so delicate it seems almost too perfect to be real. The natural world has a way of slowing you down, of drawing your attention away from the noise and rush of everyday life. You might step outside just to get some fresh air, but then you notice the sound of a bird calling, the rhythm of its song carrying through the stillness. You pause, listening without meaning to, and for that brief moment, nothing else matters. It's in these pauses that joy often sneaks in, not in loud celebrations, but in quiet, unexpected moments of connection with the world around you. Sometimes the beauty is found in movement, the sway of tall grass in the wind, waves rolling onto the shore with the steady patience of centuries, or clouds drifting slowly across a blue sky. These things remind you that life is always in motion and that there is comfort in its rhythms. Other times, it's in stillness, the way a lake reflects the world above it like glass, or how snow rests so gently on branches that it looks like it's been painted there. As you begin to notice these things more often, something changes inside you. The joy you feel is not just about what you see, it's about the awareness you bring to it. You start to realize that beauty is not rare, it's everywhere, waiting to be noticed. A single dewdrop on a blade of grass can hold the morning sun and sparkle like a jewel. The scent of rain on dry earth can awaken a feeling you can't quite name. Even the cool shade on a hot day can feel like a gift when you stop to appreciate it. This awareness grows over time, and with it, your joy deepens. You no longer need extraordinary events to make you feel alive. The ordinary becomes extraordinary. A walk becomes an exploration. A garden becomes a gallery of colors, shapes, and textures. Even the changing seasons bring their own kind of wonder. Spring with its bursts of new life, summer with its long golden days, autumn with its tapestry of leaves, and winter with its quiet silver stillness. Each one has something to offer if you are willing to look closely enough. There is also a healing quality to this joy. When you're surrounded by the beauty of the natural world, worries seem to soften. The mind stops chasing after what's missing and starts resting in what's here. The heart feels lighter, as though the world has gently reminded you that you are a part of something vast and alive. In these moments, the lines between you and the world blur. You are not just an observer of beauty, you are within it. Sharing this joy with others makes it grow even more. Pointing out a sunset to a friend, picking a wildflower for someone, or simply walking together through a park can create shared moments that linger long after they've passed. In this way, beauty connects people just as much as it connects you to the earth itself. And perhaps the most remarkable part of discovering joy in the natural world is that it never runs out. No matter how many times you watch the sun rise, it will always feel a little different. No matter how many flowers you've seen, there will always be one that surprises you. Nature has an endless capacity to renew itself, and in doing so, it renews you. The joy found in the beauty of the natural world is a quiet treasure, one that deepens the more you notice, the more you care, and the more you let it into your life. So as we leave this story behind, may we carry with us the magic of hidden gardens, the gentle healing of nature, and the friendships that blossom with care. Let us remember the doors we dare to open, the kindness we choose to give, and the joy we find in the world around us. Because in these simple, beautiful moments, life quietly becomes something extraordinary.